Hey, shalom, brothers and sisters. I welcome you back. Thank you again for joining me today. And today I want to I'll do a book review. And this is a subject I haven't touched up on yet. And I'm going to present this book to you. And then I'm going to do just a little lesson on this issue. And it's the doctrine of the immortality of the soul. And anyways, uh, this book is called Immortality or Resurrection, a biblical study on human nature and destiny. And Dr. Sam Bakiochia, he's he's the author of this book, and it's a well-informed book. Here's the front, and here's the back right here. This is a full of information and everything. The book is like 304 pages. On the back's got like footnotes. Let's see. And this book was published, second printing was 1998. Biblical Perspectives. Let's see, 4990 Appian Way, Berrien Springs, Michigan. That's where, he passed away back in, I think it was 2008, I believe. But he has several books, and in fact, I did another book review on him many months back. It's called From Sabbath to Sunday, and you can look that video up. That's a good book. It's greatly researched and stuff. But this book here, he gets into the immortality of the soul, which is basically all began with pagan Greeks. The Greeks, they believed in the immortality of the soul. There's things about when you pass away, the soul goes back up to heaven or whatever. There's other things where the body is bad and the soul is good. The body is the prison of the soul. It's a prison, and once you pass away, the soul is released and does whatever, goes around, does whatever. But I'm gonna read some things for you here. I'm gonna go to page 48. And it says, soul and blood. I'm just going to read give you a little glimpse on what the book's about here. Okay, page 48. Life is a translation, the word life is a translation to Hebrew, nephesh. So the passage reads, the soul of the flesh is in the blood. In verse 14 of Leviticus, 17, this was 17, verse 14. We read, for the life of every creature is the blood of it. Therefore I have said to the people of Israel, you shall not eat the blood of any creature, for the life of every creature is its blood. It says, here's the word life is used in each instance to translate the Hebrew nephesh. So the passage should actually read, for the soul of every creature is in the blood of it, for the soul of every creature is its blood. The phrase each creature suggests that the reference to blood both apply to both man and animals, and thus as Atkinson's points out, we have here a most important insight revealed in the essence of human nature. Soul and blood are identical. I continue on page 49 here. The Hebrew were forbidden to eat meat still containing blood because the act meddled with nephesh, which means life, and therefore became offensive to Yahweh. The equation between blood and nephesh meant consuming blood was a form of murder. One was sustaining one's own life, nephesh, with sacred nephesh, life of another. So, and then I'm going to jump over to page 168. I'm going to read just a couple lines here for you here. And it says here, the reason the death penalty was inflicted for consulting with some familiar spirits. It is that because evil spirits or fallen angels impersonating the dead Such a practice would eventually lead the people to worship the devil rather than Yahweh. That's why it's forbidden to talk to familiar spirits, mediums, and whatever the such. But going down here, they're talking about was it Samuel? Samuel here says, I see an Elohim coming out of the earth. That's 1 Samuel 28:13. The plural word Elohim is used in the Bible not only for the true Elohim, Yahweh, but also for false ones. And you can find that in Genesis 35, verse 2, Exodus 12:12, and Exodus 20, 3. What the medium saw was a false Elohim or evil spirit impersonating Samuel. So it wasn't Samuel, it was an imposter, it was a evil spirit impersonating him. And I'm going to go down one more time here. Furthermore, if Samuel had been in heaven, the spirit impersonator of Samuel would have said, "Why have you brought me down?" But he said, "Why have you disturbed me to bring me up?" I mean, if you catch my drift on what that means. But anyways, if there was an immortality of the soul where all the souls return to Yahweh, then what's the point in the resurrection? Why would Yeshua and the host of angels come down when we're all up there anyways? But anyways, yeah, I want to sit there and stress right here. Let's see. Gotta get my big Strong's concordance out here. Because when it comes to the Old Testament, when it talks about the soul, basically, I don't have a soul, you don't have a soul, you are a soul, I am a soul. And you go to 53:15, 53:15 here, and Strong's, it says Nefesh, and a breathing creature, an animal, vitality used very widely, accommodated, figure, sense, bodily, or meant any appetite, beast, body, breath, creature, dead, desire, commented, fish, ghost, greedy. But it goes on down here. But for the Old Testament, that's 53:15. Then when Yeshua talks about it, and I'm going to get to that here in a minute, it's number 41:51, and no, that's 53:90. Sorry, 53:90. Let's see, where'd that go? 53:90, and it says right here, it's like psych. It's called psych, and it's from breath, spirit, animal, sentiment, principle only, thus distinguished on the one hand, which is rational and immoral soul, not immortal soul, immoral soul. On the other hand, basically it's like life, mind, and soul. That's what it means right there. So you got those two right there. That clears the way of what the soul is. And now, when they talk about immortality of the soul, they're sitting there basically saying the soul can never die, can never perish, never be destroyed, nothing. Now, does your Bible say that? Well, fortunately, no, it don't. So we got to go back to the beginning of Genesis right here. I'm going to go to Genesis. I'm going to start with chapter 2. Chapter 2 and was it verse 7? And right here it says, "And Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living soul." So, like we said before, life and soul are basically synonymous. They're like intertwined together. So he became a living soul. And if I skip over to chapter 3 and verse 2 to 5, this is when the first lie, this is the first recorded lie. It's when the serpent tempted Eve, and here's what's said. starting with verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die, for Elohim doth know that in the day you eat thereof, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as mighty ones, knowing good from evil. So this is the first lie, and it's about basically the devil is saying, you're going to have immortality. You're going to be like a mighty one. You're going to be like him and others. You're going to be like this, the devil. You're going to be like the devil too. You're going to know good from evil. You're going to never going to die. But that ain't true, because I could go to let's go to Psalms. Let's see, jump to Psalms, and it'd be verse 40 right here. 40, verse 40, and or chapter 40, verse 14, and it says right here, Let them be ashamed and confounded together that seek after my soul to destroy. Let them be driven backward and put to shame that wish me evil. So somebody's coming after the soul to destroy it. Now, if you could never destroy a soul, there'd be no point in trying to destroy it if it wasn't possible. So, now I'm going to go to the New Testament, Mark. Excuse me. New Testament, Mark here, and let's see what he says. What verse is that? 8, or chapter 8. Mark chapter 8, and verse the 36 and 37. 36 and 37. This is Yeshua's own words. 36 and 37. He's talking. He's explaining another lesson here, and starting with verse 36 of chapter 8. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So what does it profit? What's the profit if you're selling your soul, your life? You're selling your life. You're selling your soul for whatever, greed, sexual gratification, whatever, But that's what Yeshua said right there. And then I'm going to go back to Matthew, because Yeshua, he basically sums it up pretty well here. See, chapter 10, almost there, but and that's going to be Matthew chapter 10, verse 20, 28. Yeah, 28. And he says right here, And fear not that which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna fire. And that's what Yeshua said right there. So immortality of the soul is a Greek concept, Greek thought and idea back then with the philosophers trying to debate on the nature of man, and you're talking about different, mighty ones, gods, whatever you want to call them. And I never touched up on it till now. When I did this book review, this Dr. Sam's book review, I decided to put some of that little lesson in on this. And I don't, there ain't no point in believing it. I, crept into the church slowly through the centuries. It crept into the church and finally gained some steam. And first it got its foot in the door, and then it wiggled its way through the narrow crack. A lot of people, they don't study it. They don't study the topic. They don't see if it's in the Bible or not in the Bible. And that's the importance. You need to know that. You need to study your scriptures to prove yourself right or wrong. And that's just a problem the dilemma we face today. Not enough time to study the scriptures because of work or workload or just technology and, like being on the phone all the time, clicking away, staring at the screen. But anyways, that's enough for me right now. And I hope you do get that book. And also, I thank you again for joining me. And you also, please give me a big thumbs up and hit that notification bell. And also, I appreciate if you subscribe. And I thank you again. Until we meet again, peace out and shalom.